Good afternoon, right? All right, there we go. So great to see so many familiar faces. Can you hear us okay? Yeah, so far so good. Fantastic. This is actually one of my favorite events here that we do at Stone Age Farm. I'm always so proud to actually organize this event with the team, and what a team that is. I mean, the trio here next to me, it's wine legends, folks. So far right for me rather, Phil Couturier, organic farming guru, viticulture for Stone Age Farm. Next to Phil, founding winemaker, Jeff Baker. And next to me, fantastic winemaker, very gifted, Alejandro Zeman. So this is kind of fun, and it's a vertical tasting. It's basically a back to the future tasting. It's not fun just for you, it's fun for me as well too. It's tasting through incredible wines of Stone Age Farm. I always say this is a history of excellence. History of excellence.
So Mac had been he's always loved Bordeaux's since the 50s, really. So he was heavily involved with Chalon, which was pretty much a Burgundy-oriented winery. So when we started Carmenet, he was pretty excited that we'd be doing the Bordeaux-style wines. And we're both interested in old style that, there's not a lot of processing involved, that are made to age. So we're trying to make wines purposefully that will start to really come around in 10 or 15 years.
Walk us through in terms of the winemaking philosophy when it comes to crafting the Cabernet Sauvignon that we're about to taste.
Okay. So welcome everyone to the office. The way I see the crafting these wines is to allow the grapes to express the site, the location, and also the vintage, and at the same time craft a wine that can be paired with food, and also that can be aged. So that's why we're here today, to taste how these wines age. And the way to do it, and I keep learning from Jeff every day, is to actually minimize the interactions that we do with the grapes during fermentation and also during aging. So let the grapes express themselves. That doesn't mean that minimize means that we are lazy. What that means is that we want to attract the wines, make sure they're healthy, especially healthy, and let them be.
And this is a real positive aspect on the Stone Age Farm, the home ranch, is there's alluvial soils, alluvial rocks, rounded rocks, and drainage. My feeling is to grow great Cabernet in the hills or in the valley floors is you have to have drainage. You have to have drainage. You have to make sure that the vines don't have a wet feet, that the water runs through it, and on a heavy clay you get away with growing Merlot, but at Stone Age Farm it's an old riverbed, and it really allows the roots to get down into the rocks and pick up the minerality that you have there. And then you get up in the hills, you have to always look for the same aspect. Water that runs through, the vines don't sit in wet feet, and there's a little different sense of vigor, and the temperature changes and the diurnal changes in the hills is less during this time of the year than it is in the valley. And so that's where you get the complexity of both the different types of terroirs that we're dealing with. But to me, the most important part in growing Cabernet like this is to have good drainage.
Yeah, thanks for that, Jeff. And you touch on that pretty quickly, Alejandro, but you said you want to make, that's part of the philosophy of Stone Age Farm, a long-lived wine. And that means to make it tannic, right? So how do you go about extracting the tannins during the process? Do you want to talk about that?
Yeah, I wouldn't say I want a tannic wine, because
long-lived.
Then you have to wait too long. Not 50 years, right?
No, I don't have 50 years.
But 7 years is a good time to wait. So I think you need to do a good extraction. That means that you need to get the right tannins, and in short, the goal is to actually soften the tannins, so extract them but get the soft one. And in a one-sentence explanation, we do that by playing with the temperature of the fermentation. That's what I learned from Jeff, is you play with that, you can get those velvety, silky tannins that I think are great for aging the wine.
And if I
Thank
could
you.
add something to that, I've, as an organic farmer for over 40 years, the soil's been alive, and tannin, you want tannin, you don't want it tannic, but you want supple, round tannins. And I think that comes from the time that we spend as we approach the harvest, watching the grapes mature. To me, if you think they're ready, you might wait another week for the tannins to even soften more. You want the tannins there, but you don't want them to be hard like a table. You want them I want them to be supple. And the soils, to me, make that suppleness to it, the softness to it, because the soil enables it to ripen longer.
I'm trying to remember, but yeah, Merlot it's always been a sort of a love-hate relationship for me, because so many years it will, if you get a big hot spell, it'll just shut down, so it's not completely ripe. And it does well in cool, like really moderate temperatures. So we've been working to find the right place for it, and we pulled it out where we've had it before, and we now have some up at Silver Cloud at 1,800, no, maybe 1,700 feet, that we think is going to work out really well. So I have high hopes for Merlot.
And that Merlot, when I talked earlier about drainage, traditionally Merlot, so from Pomerol, the best Merlots are really heavy clay soils. And at Silver Cloud, we have this 2-acre block that the soil is black. The Silver Cloud has this mishmash in a 5-acre piece. You could have 6 different types of soil types. But on this, and I think I'm looking forward to that Merlot as it ages, adding a lot more, because to me that it keeps it a little bit cooler than what we'll get down here on the valley floor. At one time, Stone Edge Farms was 100% Merlot. And when we replanted it in 2004, we planted a block of Merlot, then actually we cut it over. So I believe in 2014, we didn't have anything in our quiver of Merlot in the barrels at that point. I don't think we made any.
Wine of the group today with 8 number 1 vote today and 6 number 2 votes today. So I mean, I'll start. I think, again, this is now why I love to say to people, all the roads lead to an aged Bordeaux.
Yeah.
And this is just, I mean, why I'm a collector. This is why I have a collection. I'm not Mac. I don't have how many bottles it's got? 30, 40,000. I have a collection, nothing like that. But I have a fair amount of wine. I really enjoy when the Cabernet reaches this kind of place here. It is so fantastic. It no longer gets you like, you feel like it's punch in the face. It's finesse. The French word is finesse, which is very difficult to describe, but this is it. And I'm not necessarily going to agree with you, Doug. I think this has so much time left here. It just, I mean, I've seen this wine progressing over the last 3 or 4 years. It's finally now, and it's the place where I guarantee you, this is going to stay the same for 20 years. I think I'm testing a petit lynchbage here at a portion of the price. Lynchbage is where I spent a bit of time working back in the days, and this is just so pleasant, so fun. It's Cabernet at its finest. Truly amazing, gorgeous. We had a few hot days last year. At 105, what happens when it hits 105? Could you walk us through what happens to the grapes?
Well, once it gets above 95, the stomata closes, the grapes go into wilt, and when it gets into 105, the canopy temperatures could be up to 120, 125, and you get an acceleration of ripeness, but not phenolic ripeness, and the seeds might be ripening, but the sugars are going through the roof. and that's with at Stone Edge. They'll get up to 105, but then there's this diurnal shift. In the hills, what happens in August and September when you get these warm weathers, with these warm temperatures, it stays really warm at night. And that's, in the past that helps us ripen them in the hills a little bit slower. But that is something that we have to become more cognizant of, because the vine shuts down. The only vine that doesn't go into wilt is Syrah. It's a real cool climate variety, and it just keeps growing in the heat, and it'll burn itself out. But it's a little larger berry. But Cabernet is the most difficult grape to grow and grow properly, because you can't put 5 tons to the acre and get wines like this. You have to really sculpt the clusters and balance. And again, put the vine in balance so it could get through the heat without shriveling, and at the same time, pray for the fog and come in pretty quickly.
Tough, yeah. Yet it's called the king of grapes.
And that it is.
Yep.
And then Cab Franc is the queen. Is a beautiful variety.
The queen of grapes. That's beautiful. Well, that's fantastic. So this kind of concludes the first part of this event, which was the vertical tasting. Awesome work, you guys. Give them a big round of applause. That's awesome. I mean, a couple of legends here. Alejandro, just amazing winemaker, so skilled here. Amazing wines. Thank you for making such beautiful wines for us. It's a treat. It's a treat. So part 2 now is when you get to mingle and have more wine, obviously. There's a big spread of food. Chef Guillaume made an incredible feeding trough back there. We're here, obviously, also to mingle with you, obviously, answer any more questions. Please do finish the ones in front of you as well, too. It's going to be, here all during the reception. But thank you all so much. Keep the little packet for you, and you'll see that some of the wines available. There is a packet here, which is kind of fun. We have a special on the 6 bottles. So if you're interested, add them to your collection. It's the last time, once again, we'll be adding the 6 and 08 to the tasting. So if you're missing those 2 bottles, take them with you, and the legends here can actually sign the bottles for you. We love to do that, but thank you all so much. Time for the reception now, and thank you all for coming once again. So thank you, guys. Cheers.